Who is this actually good for, who should skip it, and is it worth the price for normal everyday buyers? That's the question I get most often when someone mentions a tiny workstation like the HP Mini Conference G9. If you're wondering whether a 12th Gen Intel Core i7 packed into a desktop the size of a book can handle your day-to-day tasks without turning your conference room into a tech circus, keep listening. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first saw the Mini Conference G9, I imagined the typical office dilemma: you need a reliable computer for presentations, occasional video calls, maybe a little spreadsheet crunching, but you also have limited desk real estate and a budget that doesn't stretch to a full tower. The risk here is buying a Mini that either underdelivers on performance or overpromises on features you'll never use. That's why I dug into the specs, scoured forums, and even reached out to a couple of IT managers who have already deployed similar HP Mini desktops in their meeting rooms. What you get under the hood is an Intel Core i7-12700T, a 12th Gen chip that lives in the low-powered series envelope. It's not the K version you'd see in a gaming rig, but for office workloads it's more than capable. Paired with 16 GB of RAM and a 256 GB SSD, the system boots Windows 10 IoT Enterprise in seconds and can run multiple Office apps, a web browser with dozens of tabs, and a Teams call without a noticeable hiccup. The integrated UHD Graphics 770 handles 1080p video output flawlessly, no stuttering during a PowerPoint slideshow, and even a simple video conference runs smooth. Now, let's talk about who actually benefits from this configuration. If you run a small to medium-sized business and need a dedicated machine for each conference room, the G9's tiny footprint is a real win. It slides into a wall mount bracket or sits neatly on a narrow tabletop, leaving the rest of the space free for whiteboards or additional seating. The built-in vPro technology is another secret weapon for IT departments: remote management, hardware-level security, and the ability to push updates without stepping on end-user productivity. In practice, that means an admin can reboot the Mini, install patches, or even power it off remotely while the meeting is still in progress, something that would be cumbersome with a standard desktop. If you're a freelancer or a remote worker looking for a primary workstation, the story changes. The 256 GB SSD will feel cramped once you start storing large design files, datasets, or a growing library of video content. While the i7-12700T can juggle everyday tasks well, it's not built for heavy rendering or gaming. You'd quickly find yourself adding an external drive or a NAS, which adds both cost and complexity. In that sense, the Mini Conference G9 is more of a dedicated appliance than a versatile all-in-one machine. What about the hidden trade-offs? The first thing I noticed is the limited expansion options. The unit offers a single M.2 slot that's already occupied by the SSD, and the PCIe lanes are dedicated to the integrated graphics. If you ever think about adding a discrete GPU for advanced visualizations, you're out of luck. The lack of a traditional SATA port also means you can't simply drop in an extra hard drive later. That's fine if you're happy with a clean, maintenance-free setup, but it's a sticking point for anyone who expects to upgrade component by component over several years. Heat management is another practical concern. The Mini's chassis is designed to be silent, using low-profile fans that keep acoustic noise below 30 dB. In a quiet conference room, that's a blessing, but the downside is that under sustained load, say, a 30-minute video conference with screen sharing, the CPU can climb into the mid-70s Celsius range. It won't throttle, but it does mean the fans will spin up slightly louder. For most users, this is barely noticeable, yet it's something to keep in mind if your meeting space is already prone to echo or if you plan to run the machine 24 hours a day. Let's address the price question directly. You'll find the HP Mini Conference G9 sitting around the mid-$800 mark, which is a bit higher than a basic mini PC with a lower-tier processor. However, you're paying for the combination of the 12th Gen i7, 16 GB of RAM, and the enterprise-grade Windows 10 IoT Edition, plus the vPro remote management capabilities. If your organization already has an investment in HP's management suite, You'll recoup that value quickly because you won't need to buy separate CAV-M switches or remote access appliances. Conversely, if you're a solo user who just wants a compact PC for web browsing, you could get a comparable system for a fraction of the cost. In real-world usage, the Mini Conference G9 shines when it's set up as a dedicated presentation hub. I saw a marketing team in a mid-size firm mount one on the back wall of their main conference room. They used it to run a single-monitor PowerPoint deck, switch to a Teams call with a click, and pull up a quick